So
Look who is here.
we're
Look who's
back.
here. I was holding down the fort. I was
Yes,
doing
you were.
I was doing the best I could. I had to come back though today. Hey, so just so everyone, so I'm Bob Siosik. I'm the founder, CEO of World's Greatest. I'm just a temporary co-host. I'm really here though to ask a few questions to you guys. And then we'll just let things ride. But you guys had a lot of fun though out on West Coast, huh?
For sure.
Try to.
Both
Try
you
to.
guys were out there competing, having some fun. I mean, tell everyone what was going on and how that event went for you.
Go ahead, Jessica.
My name's Jessica Beard. I do the 400 butt at Mount Sac. I'm working on my foot speed to lead up until my opener. And so I got a season's best, but I was with some real 200-meter runners, like Olympic medalists, world championship medalists. And so I was trying to hang on and run with them and get out from the start. I think my start is a little better than it was. But when I looked up, they was gone. And I was like, you know what? You can't pull 22 down with 22. I mean, I went 23, 2, which is my season's best. So that was fun. And then I did the 4x4 relay. And that was also fun. I got to do first leg. So it was kind of getting me ready for the open 4 and just the rhythm of what that's gonna be like. So I had fun. I got to sprint, work on some speed work, and then I got a chance just to run the relay, which I enjoy doing. So
We
How,
talked a
how
little relay at the end of the last episode, Devon. You didn't get to see, I don't think you saw that. But Mike Rogers and Jess were talking relay strategy, all-time great relay teams and all that stuff. So that was kind of interesting that you were running
wait
that
for the
relay.
4x1 or 4x4?
4x1. We were talking. I asked him if he could choose, and I said he had to be on it if he could choose any. I initially said American, but we just did all. We did both. We did. If you could choose any 3 people to be your teammates, who would they be? And then if you had to choose 3 Americans to be your teammate, who would they be for the 4x1? So
See, that's interesting though, because I'm riding with Mike regardless. That third leg, he takes over the game. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how old he gets. He turns 50. He's still gonna be rocking that third leg.
and he told us the last episode that he just got used to third leg and how it was really uncomfortable and how he loves first leg. And we were like, wow, couldn't tell. So
Yeah, that was kind of a scoop.
Yeah, that's fair. What Jess, if you could run on a 4x1, would you do it?
I did it in college. I think that's as far as I need to go.
It's done for you now.
Unless I'm getting, if I get like Flojo, Evelyn, and I don't know, Carmelita, and then they
Oh
put me
yeah,
on the end. I'm hoping that
you're
their
out in front. You
handoffs
can
are
just
flawless and the lead is so big. Me running 11 flat is not gonna get caught. But I just don't know because I'm like, dang, if they got a lane on the end, she running 10-5. Can she come
yeah,
get me?
a suspect.
And
Yeah,
so, yeah, college, it was fun. I
there's
wanted
no pressure. No
private,
pressure.
but yeah,
Yeah,
the pro level, I'm a pro and I want to leave that to like the 100 pros.
yeah.
I'm not like hurdlers, Devin, you know how y'all do. Y'all can go hop on first leg. That be y'all leg. Look at Devin.
Yeah, I think I would like to do the 100, but like you said, it's just a little bit nerve wracking because there's a team atmosphere, and I feel like I can run with the best of them in
Yeah.
terms of foot speed. The start is the biggest issue with hurdlers. I think just because
Mm.
there's not really a drive acceleration phase in the hurdles, right? You only have like 5 steps to accelerate, and then you got to be tall and to be able to jump.
Yeah.
Right. So we don't get to practice the start so much that like when I do run the 100, I feel like my foot speed and my top speed is really great, but like I'm not really I'm playing catch up all the time,
Mm.
and that's just because I just don't practice it enough. But yeah, I would love to be on the 4x1. I'm gonna run a couple more hundreds this year and try to dip into the 9 so I could throw my name into the pull out one hat
Come
for
on,
the
pull
year.
out one hat.
Hey, USATF, if you're listening.
Hey, you got enough practice on those starts though on Saturday.
Yeah, I know that was
Oh
a
my
nightmare. You know,
Was it?
and here's a funny thing. So we had the 2 false starts that we ran about 50, 60 meters. The third one, I did that on purpose. I pulled a veteran move and put my hand up because I was tired. Like realistically, I was just tired, and they gave us like 30 seconds once we got to the line to like turn around and do another get in your
30
box again.
seconds.
Yeah, well, because it was on TV, right? So they're trying to
Oh, so they're like,
roll it
look,
through. Yeah, so I pulled a veteran move and put my hand up, and they gave us about a minute or two, and so
Yeah, Otto Bolden, he called you on that one though. He goes, I believe Devon Allen did that.
yeah, no, that I mean, you gotta treat it like that. Like, if I'm gonna run the race, I want to be in a good position to run well. I'm not gonna just go out there. I was already tired. I didn't run as fast as I probably could have, anyways, but I didn't want to be even more tired. So, I worked out. It was good. It was a good time this week. And Mount Sac is great. Jess, have you been there before?
I had, but all the way back in, I want to say that's 2018. So it looked completely different than when I was there last time.
Yeah, I'd never been there. I'm like, wow, I'm really impressed. Just that facility and venue is pretty great too.
It's nuts. It's nicely done.
Not that I don't like USA's and stuff at Eugene because I love it when it's in Eugene, but Mount Sac can definitely throw their name in the hat for hosting a major U.S. championships or a major meet coming up. Other than just the Mount Sac relays. Although it's a big spectator event. There was tons of fans there, like a lot of kids, which is cool. Like there's high school kids that are from Arizona that know me. I know the families. The club track kids that I grew up running against, like they're like when they were 5 and I was 15, they're like in high school now, so it's kind of cool to see that.
No, it is. It was really awesome. I met this young lady. She's like, when I was in the 8th grade, you were like a senior in college, and I'm from Ohio, and I used to run. I was like, oh my gosh, where'd you run track at? She's like, Twinsburg. I'm like, wow, Twinsburg's like 30 minutes from where I'm from. She's like, I never got to see you run in person, but I finally get to see you. And I'm like, that is crazy. So like, Devon, there's just so many people out there, and she's like, I'm about to actually move back to Ohio. I'm in law school. I'm like, wow. She's like, I'm about to graduate.
Whole life story right there.
I'm like, okay. So it was amazing just to see, like Devon said, so many other athletes competing, so many young athletes and collegiate athletes. So it was great. I was like, wow, this is nice.
Devon, did you or Jess, did you see Devon? So you we were talking about this early, Dev. You could have qualified for the finals of that 100 if it was time, right? If your heat was not just top 2 qualified.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I think
some weird criteria, Jess, that went on.
Yeah, well, I think just because the other heat was win legal, that they just pulled the rest of the times from there, which is fine. To be honest, I actually prefer that because I wasn't going to run the final anyways.
Yeah.
So
because of the hurdles.
Yeah, because it was just way too close. I literally was like on the track still, like coming down the other side of the track while the 100 was going.
Oh wow!
So it just it'd have been a little bit too much, and
yeah,
my coach vetoed it right away when I asked him. He was like, "Well, you could do the 100, but if you make the final, you're gonna have to scratch." And I'm like, "Well, shoot, I'm gonna make the final, but it's all right. It's all good."
Yeah, that it paid off. It paid off in the hurdles. So
yeah, I mean, I ran a decent race.
Yeah,
you got the win. It's always whenever you can win as a pro. Like I was telling, B Miller and all the young guys that get on the show is like when you can win at this level, it's a big deal. It's not easy because you got to be clicking. Like you got a lot of guys that are great athletes getting beat. And you're like, dang, I never, thought, the only person that's not getting beat right now is Fred Curley, but he was ducking me in the 100. So, who knows? Who knows?
Did you guys see that race live?
Yes.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I mean, that
it
was
pretty. It was awesome. Yeah.
That was cool to see them. It was like 3 or 4 of them across, with like, I don't know, 60 meters to go or something like that. But
Yeah.
Fred just had something there. He's like, I'm not going to lose.
Yeah.
He just
Well,
had
and that's the thing. It's so like we always say this, and I never really understood why we say it so early, but it is early in terms of training,
Hey.
in racing and stuff like that. But I think, as a professional, we're always trying to be like prepared to race if we're going to race, right? Like we're not going to go out there and make ourselves look stupid if we can avoid it on purpose. So, for those guys to run that fast this early is pretty impressive. And it's going to, I think we're going to see some super, super fast 200 times, probably even 100 times, especially with, Christian Coleman, Marvin Bracey, the Italian, coming back and all those guys, running hot coming off the Olympic year. So I'm excited to see what the sprint world has to show us.
For sure. And I just love the head-to-heads. I feel like on the men's side, we always have to wait to the championships to really see a stacked field. And we were able to see such a stacked field at the Mount Sac relays in multiple events. And it's like, man, this is how it's going to be for the rest of the season. Like Devon was saying, there's going to be, you realize when you're lining up like, oh, that's the Olympic champ, the world champ, or, Olympic finalist. And you're just like, wow, everybody that I'm competing with is, that you're on the elite level, but like Devon said,
Yeah.
you realizing everybody here has the potential to win, but there can only be one winner. And so it was awesome. It was awesome to see because they were going back and forth. I'm like, I can't really see because I had a back. I was like, it looked like this. I'm like, which one? Who got it? And the announcer was just going crazy.
Yeah.
And it's Fred, and it's Norman. And I'm like, who is it? And I was like, okay,
It was cool. It was cool to see because, and then even afterwards, I don't know if you caught Michael Norman, but they're interviewing him and Rye together.
Yeah.
And they did Rye first, but then they went to Michael and they're like, "How you feeling?" He's like, "I'm disappointed." I'm like it wasn't like it was like Rye was like, I was just playing around because it's not his event, But Michael was just like, I guess that's what it is, right? If you guys are out there competing, you're competing to win. You're not just out there.
Yeah, no, for sure. And you know what I'm kind of salty about is the hurdlers don't get a freaking like a Nike banner to run through. That's messed up.
What y'all have? Nothing.
Nothing. This is running through nothing. That's why I had to do. That's why I had to do stuff with my hands because there's nothing to do.
Well, I thought it's funny you say that because I thought you kind of pulled up a little at the end, and I'm like, man, you need to run through that tape. It just maybe it was an illusion as a viewer.
Invisible tape. Yeah, exactly.
Come on. So next time, you heard it here first. Devon Allen needs a banner to run through to really solidify and push him to get.
I don't remember the last time I run through a banner, to be honest.
Really?
And it makes me a little bit sad, now that I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
What about at Milrose? Wasn't there a banner involved there?
Was there?
I don't know. It seems like I remember a banner, but now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think so. I'm thinking of Boston where they had the chocolate milk banner. But that was in the
that's what we need to do. Like Europe, Europe they do that when you win the race, they give you like a wheel of cheese or some chocolate or stuff like that.
That Swiss chocolate is serious.
Like I'm trying to get like a giant donut hole. Like.
Yeah, what would you guys pick? If you guys could choose it, what would it be?
The best prize is the diamond from Luzerne, Switzerland. If you win the race in Luzerne, that meet they give you a diamond.
Yeah, well, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I agree that to get that or a bar of gold. I mean, one or the other.
I actually saw a video that Colin Jackson posted. He said he ran in a race that the winner got 10 kilograms of gold.
Oh, wow.
In like the 90s.
Yeah.
And I was like, I quickly went on my phone to like, what was a kilogram of gold worth in 1990?
How much was it worth?
It was like $3,000.
So now it's probably
so it was like 20 grand or 30 grand for the prize. I was like, dang.
You remember the Golden League? Do you remember they used to have that?
I'm too young for that.
Gosh. So I wasn't a part of it, but I was a freshman in college when they had it. And first place used to be like $30,000. they used to, and at the end, they used to do the point tally, and whoever had the most points got $1 million. Like it used to be gold bars behind them. Like
Really?
and 2 people used to win, or 3 people, but sometimes 1 person won. I remember once Sonya was the only person who won. She had I was like, girl, I know you happy because I'm happy for you, and I'm just watching on
I'm
TV.
watching. Yeah,
Athlete.
I have to look this up. I have never seen
It's
this.
called the Golden League, and it used to be gold, and they used to look so disappointed when they had to split it between like 3 of them. I'm like, poor you, only getting $333,000. You could have got
Yeah,
the
so
whole million if you just won it outright. Yes, it's called the Golden League. Have to talk about it next time. Come on.
Next time. We're gonna bring Shae in a second, but we kind of, the elephant in the room that we haven't even talked about is Devon Allen in the Philadelphia Eagles.
No, seriously, because he never mentioned on any of previous episodes that he was, thinking
I had
about
to
like, hey,
I
keep it
kind
under
of teased it in that
wraps.
one episode, Jess. I teased it, but I didn't want to say anything because I didn't know if Devon was going to get mad at me. So I kind of said Devon has something going on coming up, but then I backed off it. I got panicky.
Yeah, no, it happened very quickly. I did the Oregon Pro Day on the April 1st, and then, within a few, like 20 minutes of that, I was on the phone with Howie Roseman, the GM of the Eagles, and they said they were interested in having me and signing me. So, I had to sign an agent. I didn't, Paul, my agent, love my guy, Paul Doyle, but he said he didn't want to do it. He didn't want to be my football guy. Said it's too much work. And
well,
so yeah, I hired an agent. We got talked to a few other teams, and the Eagles really showed a lot of interest, and it's always good to go where you're wanted, right? So they
yeah.
showed a lot of love right from the beginning. Within 10 minutes, 20 minutes of pro day, they're like, "Hey, we want you here," and I'm like,
Wow.
"Shoot, that sounds like a good spot for me to be." And
Yeah.
it's 2 hours from where I'm living now, and I'm actually going up there on Sunday night because I got OTAs that start on Monday.
Oh,
So
wow.
I got some football stuff, and then I'm actually running the Penn relays that next Saturday. So 2 Saturdays from now. So I'm gonna be a busy guy.
You have to tell us, Devin, what made you say, I'm not done with football yet. I still love this, and I want to give this a shot. I want to give this a chance. Like,
I always wanted to, and my whole life I played football. I started playing when I was 5, right? So I played for 18 years, and when I had the knee injury in college right after the Olympics, I was kind of frustrated with how the Olympics went, for one, just because I thought I should have won the gold medal, and then 2, just being injured is frustrating as well. Especially, that season, the first 2 games, I was like at a good trend of like being back to my normal self coming off of another injury in 2015. So I was a little bit frustrated, and I got the opportunity to sign a deal with Nike to run track. And I was like, hey, this might be my opportunity to just focus on track and see where this can take me, in terms of like just what I can do, And so I did that. And the plan was to do it for 4 years. Through the 2020 Olympics, it got pushed to 5 because COVID. But yeah, so we did the Olympics, and now, once that finished, that's okay. I decided to start to make the transition in terms of just like body and strength and stuff like that, lifting more, eating more, getting a little bit heavier. Obviously I'm still fast, which is good, but trying to transition into my football body type, and then doing more football related drills and stuff like running around, catching footballs, running routes and stuff. That's super important. And like around January, when the season started, I reached out to Oregon and to see if I could do pro day to kind of announce that I was interested in getting back into it. And so they said, yeah, of course. So I went out there and did okay. I ran a good 40, pretty fast, and ran some routes and caught every ball. And, I'm just excited for the opportunity, really. I got a lot of work to do, but, it's going to start here soon. Like I said, next on Monday, I'm going to Philly for OTA. So I'm going to be doing football stuff kind of on and off until training camp and the last week of July. So I got some time. I got 3 months to, kind of lock it in.
yeah. So you're going to try to do both? World Championships?
Yeah, that's the plan for this year. The
Yeah.
plan for this year is to do both. Obviously, that's the thing. I just don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Marquise Goodwin's a good friend of mine, and obviously he did the long he long jumps a little bit in the off seasons as well. But yeah, there's a big time commitment. That's the hardest thing. I think physically I can do it. It's just, I got to be in two different places really. I'm training somewhere. I got to be doing football. When the football season starts, right?
Yeah.
July 27th, I really can't go to Europe and run
Right.
and meet, right? So I'm going to try to get as much as I can get in on the front half of this season. Focus on the track stuff, being as fast as I can. I'm healthy now, which is good, and give myself a good opportunity to win worlds, and see where it takes me. And then hopefully the football thing takes off, and I can focus on that for a couple years. Then when the Olympics comes 2024, give myself 5-6 months to focus on training for that, and then 2028 my last. I was telling my family like I'm going to retire when I'm 33 from all sports probably.
Okay.
So 6 years from now, after the 2028 Olympics in LA. So should be good.
That's what I'm glad you asked that, Jess. Before we bring Shae in, because we're going to bring her in a second here, but I did want that answered because all they kept saying on the NBC broadcast is that's it, that's the end of his track career, and I'm like, I don't think so. He said other things.
Well, and here's the thing. Realistically, right? I can like I'll get a lane in the meets if I want to run.
Right.
Like I've probably earned that as much. This is how well I'm going to run with the lack of training, base season, stuff like that. It's not an easy sport. If it was easy, everyone would do it, right? Like I'm not naive to the fact that I spent a lot of time and effort to get to where I'm at, and it takes a lot of training. So, it'd be unrealistic for me to say, hey, I'm going to finish the season, win the Super Bowl February 18th, and then go run at USA Indoors and run 7:35. Like that'd be great. I would love to. I'm going to try to, but realistically, I don't know if that's going to happen. So,
Okay.
All right, I think we should. This is great. We could keep going, and we could keep going with Shae in the conversation. But I'm going to bring her in.
Okay.
And for everybody, Shae's a 400-meter runner. She ran hurdles as well, or I think earlier in her collegiate career. So we need to ask her about that as well.
Okay.
And lots of questions for her. I'm going to bring her in now. And Devon, we're actually working on a new interface for FanFest. Is working on a whole new thing here, so we won't have this delay.
oh, there you go.
Hi.
It's instantaneous. What's up, Shae?
What's going on,
How are you
Shae?
guys?
Good.
Good. How are you?
Good. Hanging in there. Hanging in there.
Where are you calling in from, Shae?
My apartment in Westwood. So I go to UCLA. I don't know if you guys know. So
LA. Yeah, you dipped on the Ducks. That's crazy. Dang.
uh,
Are you from LA?
I'm from Riverside area. I'm not sure if you're like too familiar with California, but it's like
Is that the
south.
IE?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I couldn't get with the rain at Oregon. It was not working with me. And
Really?
yeah.
It's not
Like
that
I was
rainy.
actually no, I literally like felt like I was dying. I'm not even being that. I mean, that might be a little bit over exaggerated, but
No.
like my iron levels were like in the single digits because like I wasn't getting any sun and I had bruises all over my legs and I kind of became more depressed because I guess you need vitamin D to be happy. So
Yeah. Hey, you
yeah.
got to jump in those tanning beds.
I was, but that's also bad too. Like my dad has like lots of like skin cancer spots all over him, and I'm not trying to be like that when I'm older. So, yeah.
No, that's fair enough. Hey, Eugene, the weather is not for everybody for sure.
Yeah.
Especially if you're from California, because it was a big wake up call for me being from Arizona, and like, and
I feel like
being,
if you're like an Oregon native, then like it's like
it's
totally fine, or like Washington, but like it's just a different area.
Yeah. No, that's cool. But no, thanks for joining us. Thanks for being on the show. You're still in college now, right? You're still at UCLA?
Yeah, I was gonna be done last year, but I still have one more year of school, so I was like, might as well not have to pay for school and just like finish out my season. So, yeah.
Nice. That's great.
Mhm.
I'm pulling up some tweets of you, Shae, while we're talking here, because I was doing a little bit of research, and you had a pretty good high school career. You've had a pretty amazing collegiate career. I know,
If you're state champ in California, I think you're in a good spot.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at all the accolades. I mean, and then what a great career so far. You still get this year to complete, but already
Yeah.
making the Olympic team last year, in all that crazy heat and everything, and I'm not sure everybody knows the whole story. I was kind of rethinking it because you ended up spending some time with us, at
Yes.
our place in Oregon while we were doing a bunch of different shoots, and I don't know, maybe tell us a little bit about your Olympic experience, your trials experience, and then what you went through after you had found out you made the team.
Yeah, so last year was actually my main goal for trials was to compete in the open four and do the 400 hurdles because there was like a week in between. So after I had qualified for the relay pool for the 400, my dad, who is my coach, I'm not sure if you guys know that, my dad is my coach. He also coaches at UCLA. His colon perforated, and we had to rush him to the emergency room, like literally like the day after. And so he was stuck in Oregon for a whole month because they had to do emergency surgery, and then they had to put a colostomy bag and like cut his whole intestines open, put it back together. And so the whole time period between trials and the Olympics, I was training all by myself. And like my dad was still in Oregon. I had to fly back to California because I wasn't getting any good training in Oregon because of just the stress, and then also because I was eating so bad because we were staying in a hotel for like a month. And
Mm.
so that whole thing happened, and I went and hung out with Bob and everybody because like I was just stuck in my hotel room the whole time, and I wasn't able to even visit my dad in the hospital because of COVID restrictions.
Yeah.
And so
And we
like
had
it was
better food. We were
yeah, you cooked me like steak or something, right? I don't remember,
I
but
think
it
we
was
had
good.
steak on one night.
Yeah,
You
but it
didn't
was
cook me
good.
steak. What the heck?
Hey, you had palau. You had palau from Natasha's mom. You were doing
Oh
fine.
yeah, you're right. You're right.
Hey,
But yeah,
Jess. Uh,
definitely an interesting experience,
I
that
mean,
whole
what a
thing.
crazy experience, right? Have
And
you
because
guys?
of that, I actually ended up not competing in the 400 hurdles just because like there's no way like going through all this stress I could even think about competing. So,
Well,
and a
even
lot of people were like, "You
in
made the team
400.
already, like just relax, you know." So that's what I
I
did.
remember you were watching the 400 hurdles with us, and
Yeah,
they announced your name in
yeah,
like lane 7 or whatever it was, and you're
yeah,
like, "Oh, there's my name. There's my lane, but I'm not there."
yeah.
It's crazy. But Jess, do you have something that's? I mean, I'm sure each of you have some sort of trials like that of something that you've been through. We have a high and then a low, and do you have any experiences like that throughout your career, Jess? That it's kind of similar to that, or in the reverse, something that was a low that you came back with something that was a super high moment.
Yeah, I kind of had a roller coaster before. My first year out of school was the Olympic year. I came off of, and I've said this before, I came off winning the Barman my senior year, 2011. I was able to run the finals and the prelims of the 4x4 at the World Championships, and we won. We ran 3:18. And so going into 2012, it was I finally got to be NCAA champion, the Barman, World Championships. I'm like, 2012, I'm ready to rock and roll. And at the time, I didn't know it was a serious injury, but I got to a point where I just couldn't run. I couldn't jog for literally 3 months. And starting February 1st, I could jog, and the trials were in June. And
Mm.
so my coach was like, you just have to race yourself into shape. And so to me, kind of like what Shae was saying, like I made it all the way to the Olympic trials finals. I was like, oh my God, like I ran the season's best leading into it. So I said, I'm ready to go. And then I got dead last. I'm like, why did I make it this far to get last? And then afterwards, I got another MRI and I found out I had a partially torn Achilles. And so I
Wow.
was just like, okay. I was happy I made it that far, but I was also disappointed in the moment because I said, why did I make it this far for something like this to happen? Went into 2013, your first year after a serious injury. I'm like, what do I do? How am I going to do? Wasn't really sure. I got fifth, but I ran my butt off in the prelims and I remember Francina McCory and a few other ladies were like, we want you on the relay. We want you on the finals. And that was the year that Allison got hurt. And so they were like, you're going to be first leg. And I was like, first leg at the World Championships against Russia, in Russia. And we got second, which I feel like that's always disappointing when you're expected to win, or the expectation is to win, only to find out years later that they cheated. So technically we won. But for me, I went from, the best collegiate experience I could have to my first year out, and I was like, this sucks, to being able to overcome that injury, make it to the World Championships, and still come out with the medal. So I feel like I had a roller coaster experience where it just was, you're kind of questioning different things and you don't know why they're happening, when they're happening, but at some point you're going to find out and it's going to be for your betterment and your good. And so, yeah, I'm hoping that same thing for Shae and, what she went through. And hopefully this is going a good season for you for your last year. I'm hoping it's going well. Your training's going well.
Yeah, it's going. I'm doing something completely different than I did last year.
Okay.
And my training is definitely different compared to most collegiate athletes. My main goal is to be at my peak for nationals, USATF nationals.
Okay.
Like, obviously I want to do good at NCAAs, but my main goal is definitely, to make that world team. And so, like, I feel like because of that, my training is like, I'm still like doing hard training while most people are starting to peak right now, like get ready for like their conference meets and all that stuff. And like, I'm seeing all these people run fast times, and like, I just had my opener last weekend and it didn't go as good as I had hoped. And I'm also like very rusty in like my race strategy. Like, it's like I forgot how to race. Like, what the heck did I just do? But I just feel like I just have to keep reminding myself, like, I'm not trying to be peaking right now. Like, I'm trying to run my fastest times later on, and I just feel like that part's like kind of hard for me because like that's not the way I approached it last year. Last year I was running really fast times. Right now, like, I think last year around this time I ran a 22.9 in the 200, and so I just think like right now I just have to like be patient. I think that's the hardest thing for me this year, but I think overall I'll be good. And also my dad is like 100% back to normal.
Thank
So
God.
yeah,
That's
he had
awesome.
a colostomy bag, and he had to have it in for like 6 months, and he hated that, and I hated it too because he would just like bother me with it. Like, imagine just having doo doo in a bag on your side for 6 months, and like he would always just like be complaining about it, which obviously I think anybody would complain about it. That's like literally like one of the worst things that you'd have to carry around you all day. And so he's back to normal. He got the bag off, which is awesome, and he's like almost 100% back, so that's awesome. It's been a long journey, but yeah.
And I'm sure too, like, your dad's probably coached you most of your life, right?
Yeah.
So you have a lot of faith probably in the program and everything like that. So like you said, your goal is to peak, leading up to
Yeah, I think it's
USATF.
just like seeing what other people are running. It like just like I should be there. Like, part of me just wants to like delete social media because I don't want to see any of it. Like, I just want to like just like worry about myself and like just be on my path and not worry about other people's path. And so I'm just learning the process and like getting, because like it's different. Like, once you get to that pro level, it's gonna be like this for me. Going on, like, most of the pros aren't running that fast right now because they're like me, they don't want to peak till later. But it's just like watching all the other collegiate athletes, it's just like, oh man, I wish I was running that fast right now, but I just have to be patient.
Yeah, I mean, this is way different. Like you said, you were a little bit rusty. I think, as a track athlete, and we underrate it sometimes, but racing is super important.
For
It doesn't matter what event you do, or competing is super important. So, you got to get those competitions in because, you can run super, super fast in practice all the time and be like, oh, I'm ready to go. And you go to a meet and you're like, oh, I forgot what to do, and that's how it feels sometimes. That's kind of even how I felt, felt to me doing the hurdles this weekend. I was like, in my head, I was like, oh, I'm gonna run like 12.9. I'm gonna open up like a PB because that's how I'm feeling in training. But then my
Right.
body was just like,
Yeah.
so it's definitely hard. And like you said, you have to transition from college to a pro because college, everybody runs more often. Everybody, is racing super early. So you're used to seeing that. And as a pro, it's cool. It's important because that's how you make a living and make money. But
Yeah.
where you really make money and make a living is by making the U.S. team and win medals and stuff like that. And so that's kind of like what we put on the pedestal for us, which
Yeah.
is good. So you have a good mindset already. You have that goal set, and
Yeah.
you have a plan, which is super important. So
Yeah, we're
kudos
just
to
really
you.
trying to find that happy medium between like not doing too many meets. Because last year I did so many meets
Mhm.
that like when it was trials time, like I just felt so tired. I was like, I don't want to run another meet. So that's why this year we're like really pulling it back. That's why like I just opened at Mount Sac, and normally I would have opened like I would have ran indoors. Actually, I didn't run indoors because I was like
Yeah.
actually really stressed with school. School's been terrible. Um,
Have you graduated yet? Are you
I
you
graduate in
graduating?
June. I graduate
Okay,
in June. Yeah,
good.
What are
but
you studying, Shae?
economics,
Oh,
unfortunately.
nice.
Oh, jeez.
So
Yeah,
you know
I
all
mean,
about that supply chain.
at this point, I really wish I chose like communications or something because it's just, oh my gosh, like it really tests you, you know? And
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I hate taking tests, and that's all we do is take tests.
Mm.
So I'd rather like write a paper or something. I feel like that would be so much better.
And
But
and UCLA is not an easy school. I mean,
oh,
not
yeah,
that Oregon was
when
an
I
easy
came
school, but
when I came from Oregon though, like it definitely like I got it kind of slapped me in the face. Like I kind of treated my studies the way I did at Oregon, and then I failed all my midterms, and I was like, oh well, this is a different animal. Like this is a completely different system over here. It's not easy. So yeah.
no.
So before I start asking questions, because I actually want to see if Shae, if you have questions for Jess and for Devon, because I always think it's fascinating. Again, we have like three people that are kind of like the spectrum of careers, right?
Mhm.
Devon, like Dev, you're like kind of in the middle of these two, right?
Mhm.
But this is like all of you kind of coming into your peak, and still peaking, right? So we have a group. So Shae, do you have questions just to kind of pick the brains of Jessica and Devon?
Um. Well, I guess I could talk to Jessica about like how her or wait, Devin, you went to Worlds too, didn't you? Indoor
Uh,
Worlds?
yeah, I've been to. Oh no, not this year.
Not this year, right? Only
No,
Jessica
but
went.
I've been to Worlds.
Yeah.
Yes.
How was that? How was that experience in Serbia? Because I heard from a lot of people it just wasn't like just like the experience in Serbia wasn't that great.
So outside of running,
Yeah.
it wasn't too bad. It's not. It's reminding me a little bit of COVID and how those restrictions kind of, as an athlete, I'm happy I was vaccinated, but if you weren't, then there were all these protocols and testing. You had to get it every 48 hours. It had to be negative. And so I believe a lot of the athletes, we didn't really go anywhere. So
Yeah.
it was being inside of a hotel, even though you know other people. This was the first time that, and Devon's been on teams before as well, and you as well with the Olympics. There was no game room, there was
Yeah.
no snacks, the things that I believe bring people together and get people to learn each other. We just didn't have those type of accommodations. We didn't even have a room to have our team meeting in as far as the hotel. It was just that crowded and that booked with other people, I guess, visiting and other athletes. And so to me, that made the experience a little different where we would watch all the athletes in the lobby. So we're cheering for our teammates and things like that in the lobby. Nobody's really at the track unless you had
Mhm.
to be there. And so
Mm.
that was a little different. The food, some people got sick, got food poisoning. I don't
Yeah.
think
I
that's the
heard the
first time
food
that this
wasn't very
happened.
good.
Yeah, it was just a lot of the same things. And
Hmm.
I feel like in the beginning, it was like that for me. Some of the teams I made, I feel like I was always eating rice a protein, which is probably chicken or fish, broccoli and carrots. And I think maybe we're just a little spoiled because after
Yeah.
3 days, you're like, I don't want to eat any more rice, broccoli, and chicken. I want to be able to eat what I want to. And
Yeah.
that's just not the case. And so I believe the experience was, I really enjoyed it. It reminded me a lot as far as the track aspect of not Daegu, Doha, and how
Mhm.
they really put on a show. And I think they really tried to accommodate the athletes. You know, when you're tired and you're walking off, are you okay? Do you need water? And I appreciated those things. I just think it was just a little different not being able to have the family atmosphere and getting to know one another in ways that we normally would have. And so that was my only thing about Serbia. You know,
Yeah.
we're not going anywhere. We're not. They had a mall. I wish we would have went though. It was so nice. Oh my gosh, they had all these stores, and didn't have time to go. And I was sad because when we did go, all the stores were closing in like 10 minutes, and you're like, oh, but everything
Yeah,
else.
see, because a lot of people ask me about like my experience at Tokyo, and I was like, it's like always the same. Like I just keep telling everybody like it because of COVID, like it definitely made the experience different compared to most years. And like the food, I don't know if Devon thought the food was good, but I didn't really like it. It was like cafeteria like food, and
Mhm.
like you said, like when a lot of athletes go like abroad, I feel like it's always the same thing. We end up just eating like the foods we're similar, like we're familiar with, like rice and stuff that
Mhm.
you can't really go wrong with.
Mhm.
And also, I was just sad because like we were like 10 minutes away from Disneyland, and we couldn't
Mhm.
go anywhere. We couldn't experience like the city, and from the bus, the city just looked so cool and clean, and like I just felt like it would have been an awesome experience to like walk around and like experience it that way. And like you said, like the team aspect just wasn't like it probably would be most years. Like I got to know a lot of people, and I thought that was cool because like most of these people I've seen on TV like growing up, and now I'm on the same team as them. So it was definitely cool to like, be on the same practice track and like do all that and get treatment in the same room as everybody. But I definitely think like if it was any other year, it would have been like completely different. And but it was still like an awesome experience.
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the head. I think for me, I was just kind of paranoid because I landed the day that Sam had to go into
Oh yeah, that
quarantine.
was scary because we all
Yeah,
took a picture, a group picture that day
yeah.
too.
So yeah, I
Mhm.
and I and I missed that picture because I was like flying in, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, like I
Yeah,
was like
we were
super
all there.
paranoid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we were all there, and like I wasn't sitting that far away from him, so I was scared too. I was what what are we all gonna do? And they weren't even really freaking out. Like the staff wasn't really freaking out that much. They're like, oh no, that's not considered close contact. I was like, we were all without masks sitting by him in like a big group, but they weren't really that worried about it. But I was
yeah,
freaking out.
They probably got to remain calm to keep you all calm.
yeah.
Sure, if they were like, "Oh my gosh, what are we gonna do?" Y'all be like, "Oh, what am I?"
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
instead, you were like, "Okay, maybe I shouldn't be as worried." So
yeah,
Yeah, I think overall, just with the COVID, I was like, man, like you just don't want it to happen to you, right? Because Sam's a good friend of mine, and I felt
Mhm.
really bad and horrible for him. And
yeah,
for me, I was just all right. I was paranoid. The whole food thing for me is like I like Asian food a lot, so that was good for me. Um, but we
yeah.
have a saying.
I really wanted to eat sushi so bad. I
You didn't
love.
try it?
Didn't
Like
have sushi,
no, they had like little sushi rolls, like tuna, spicy tuna, and yeah.
but it was like cooked.
Oh yeah. It wasn't like
Yeah,
true. Yeah,
it
Japan.
wasn't
Yeah,
like
no.
real like
It wasn't like
sushi.
nigiri. No.
Yeah, yeah.
that's the
But
kind
I
of
wanted.
sushi I like cooked. Look, mine deep fry my rolls so the salmon's cooked on the inside.
no, so it was good. I didn't venture too far out. We have a saying in my family for Thanksgiving: you don't experiment on Thanksgiving. So I treat that like when you have a major competition, you don't want to be like, oh, let me try this. Like you've
Yeah,
never
I just
eaten
ate a
that
bunch of
before.
hamburgers. Honestly, I was eating
Yeah.
hamburgers and pasta.
Yep. Eggs, and avocado and bread for breakfast, and then like
Their fruit was really good though. It was so
Yeah.
fresh. I
I
ate
mean,
so
there were some good aspects of it. I think, when you have a cafeteria like that for 10,000 people, there's such a wide variety that like you can find something you like.
yeah.
You're probably gonna end up eating that every day.
It's just
for
I was there for so
5
long.
days.
I think I was there longer than you were. I was there for like 10 days.
Oh yeah, I
And
was
so
there for 5,
yeah,
6.
so on the 10th day, I was like, I'm so over this. I started ordering Domino's. And but one thing their Coca-Cola. Did you try it?
No.
Oh, it was literally like the best Coca-Cola I've ever tasted. Like something's different.
Shout out.
Like it's like more
Shout
carbonated
out.
or something. I don't know, but it was so good.
There was no McDonald's in this village, which was weird
wow.
to me.
No, but you
'Cause-
could have ordered. I ordered McDonald's. I just got everything postmated towards
See,
the.
yeah, you were a veteran player right there. You were ordering food.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
I was.
not like Allison. Allison bought a whole mattress, and I was so jealous. Did you see
I mean,
that?
she's the vet though.
Yeah.
She has a mattress sponsor that just sent her the
No, but
mattress.
Yeah.
those mattresses that they gave us were so hard, and I have like bad back problems because of Oregon.
Oh. Just your experience at Oregon. I'm starting to second guess Oregon. I'm gonna have to
Hey,
ask Phyllis about
All I
Oregon.
gotta say is go Ducks. I loved Oregon.
Yeah.
No, he probably
That's
had
not
a
my
better.
feeling.
He had different coaches when he was there, so I probably had a completely different experience he had. But yeah, I had a stress fracture in my spine once I left Oregon, so that was not fun to deal
So it
with.
was like real. Her complaint is actually.
No,
It's not like
Yeah.
a pretend complaint.
for sure.
Oh, I
Hey,
thought
you know what
I thought
happens.
you were backing up Oregon.
Hey, I love Oregon. That's all I gotta say to anybody watching.
I mean,
Go
I
Ducks.
do love that one song though. My heart belongs to Oregon or whatever. That when they played at the football games, I
Yeah,
gotta tell you, that's a good song.
my
I still have
heart in Oregon.
yeah, no, that's a really good song. And like the football games were really fun
Yeah.
compared to like UCLA. Like football games are only fun in like a college town. Like
Yeah.
if you're in like a big city like LA, like football games aren't the same. They're not as like personal, I guess, and just there's a lot more variety of things to do in LA. I guess some people just don't care to go to a football game.
Yeah, because in Oregon they're packed. It's full. It's
Same
it's
here.
what you do in Oregon.
That's what we do in Aggie Land. It's like
Yeah,
the best.
Oh yeah.
The best.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
This is some serious football schools.
Thanks.
Don't get me going to Michigan State. I'm not adding any of that in.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Bob, do you have any questions for Shae?
Well, I do have one
I know
question.
you did.
But it kind of goes to all of you guys as well. But I'm curious for you, Shae, on we ask this all the time. Companies called World's Greatest. What does it take to be the greatest? And Shae, let's start with you. Yeah.
I think work ethic is a huge thing. Like there's so many like people you could see with like natural potential to like be awesome at like a sport, but I feel like work ethic and like, you know, just like trying your hardest in most of your workouts and like just like having that, I don't know, edge. I feel like that's what like gets you like even higher to the next level, in my opinion. That's something that I've always believed in. Like I don't understand like when some people like do workouts and like half-ass them. Like I just feel like you're just hurting yourself. Like you're really just going through the motions. You're still like probably getting the same lactic acid, but if you run it a little bit faster, you're like gaining from it instead of like, you know, just going through the motions. So I've always been like the type of person to just like give my full effort to whatever I can, because then that's how I gain confidence in like meets and like just gain confidence in my abilities. And so that's always been something that's like really huge for me, is that aspect of it.
Shae, where does that come from? Is that something that you're born with? Is it something that, you know, your mom and dad kind of taught you? Did you learn it along
my
the way?
parents were both very athletic, so maybe it could be like genetics. I don't know. I've always been that way though. Like I did figure skating and I did dance, and like in both those aspects, like I always just wanted to like push myself, and like I was always just so competitive. Like even in recess, like I always wanted to like race the boys and like beat them. Like I just always had that. But I definitely think it's something that you could like gain too, like whether you really want to be better or not. I feel like you could definitely gain a work ethic if you're not like naturally like someone that has it, I guess.
Jess, this is a chance for you and Devon to re-answer the question in case you didn't like your original answer. What does it take to be the greatest? You guys have been around the block.
Well, I think work ethic is important. I think, my coach in high school, Tim O'Neill's a great coach, and he used to tell us like our training is like dosage of medicine, right? And if you don't take the full dosage, it doesn't work like it's supposed to, right? So, and like you were talking about early, you trust the program in terms of track and field or football, whatever sport you're playing, and so you definitely have to have the willingness to train at a high level and give great effort and hurt a little bit, but that comes with just work ethic, and then also being super disciplined, because you can't train super hard and then stay up till 4 a.m. and then wake up at 8 and expect to feel good, right? And do that for a long time. So
Yeah.
for me it's discipline and work ethic for sure, and just treating it like not treating it like a job in the sense that I'm not having fun because it's my job, but treating it like a professional. Like, this is something that I really care about, something that is what I'm passionate about, something that I want my life to be about, and I'm going to treat it that way, because in 10 years I don't want to be like, man, I wish I would have taken it more seriously, you know. So that's super important.
Mhm.
I don't really remember what I said that it was last time.
New answer.
Yeah, we're gonna compare it. Let's see what
I
you
would
say.
just say passion and intrinsic motivation, to not say some of the same things that Shae and Devon said. Well, they spoke about it, but just in different aspects. I think it's really important to be passionate about what you're doing, because there's going to be highs and lows in the sport, and that's when the intrinsic motivation is going to come through to get you up in the morning when, like Devin said, you get out there and you're like, man, I'm gonna run 12:9, and then you don't. And that it's gonna be that intrinsic motivation, it's gonna be that passion you have that says, next time then, or another opportunity is gonna come. I'm gonna make sure another opportunity comes, because I'm gonna perform well. I'm gonna do all the things that discipline requires. I'm gonna do, like Shae was saying, I'm gonna work hard and I'm gonna give it my all. And I think all those things require intrinsic motivation. Other people can want it for you, but you really, really have to want it for yourself. And I think it shows up as passion, and they're one in the same coin, two in the same coin. And so those are really important on top of work ethic and discipline. You need all those factors with all the other things, like Devin said. It's a lifestyle. Your sport is a lifestyle. It's not just you running and weightlifting and sleeping. Well, it's also sleeping and it's what you eat, but it's even beyond that. All of this is a part of who you are, and so I think you have to be in tune with that, and you have to be on the same page. And so you need all these things to really be the greatest.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I find fascinating with all of you guys, and it inspires us in our work, is the standards that you guys set. Like, it's like the standards are set very high, and then I also get inspired to see that, um, you know you don't see barriers, or the barriers that you see, you're determined to go through them or go over them, in the hurdles. But where does that come from for you guys? Like, is it just go, okay, I'm in this game, and therefore the standard of playing this game has got to just be super high? um, Again, is that just what you bring into your performances?
I feel like standards kind of keep us going in a way, like especially for track. Like our main goal, like in most of our track meets, is to like set a personal best. And I feel like having those standards is what like keeps us on the right path. Because if we just like settled for like where we're at, I don't feel like that would give us the motivation or like the passion, like Jessica was saying, to like, you know, get us to like a different level, if that makes sense. So I feel like standards are huge, especially for track and field.
Yeah, I think it's both innate and it's also just comes with the territory. I think a part of it is, like Shae was saying, when I was growing up, I was racing my brothers. I wanted to beat them. And even though I started track in the ninth grade, when I went to a nationals meet and I ran my best and I got third, I'm like, how is that possible? I ran my best. I should have won because this was the best I had. And I learned the sport doesn't work like that. And so I feel like that drove me to be even more competitive. What I already had, like Shae was saying, I already set the standard. Like next year, a state title is cool. I want to win it, but I want to go back to nationals and I want to win that. And so I think it just is also based on our experiences and what we encounter. Like I said, I was grateful to be the state champion. And once I realized there was another level that I could succeed at and be the very best at, I wanted that for myself. And that's the drive that I've had. And I think I'll continue to have until you really achieve what it is, whatever your goal is. You want to be the best. It's like, what does it take to be the best? So it takes, oh, and what is that best? For some people, the best is making the final. For some people, the best is winning the championship. For some people, the best is PBing. I think it just depends on whatever the standard of the best and what you want to achieve is. And so I think it changes and it continues to evolve as you evolve as an athlete.
How much you guys think? I'm dominating the questions now, but oh well. That's I. I need these answered. How much do you guys think being happy is important in athletics? Being just a happy person? Because I noticed again 3 happy people here on the show. We talked about it with like Zaza and Waddle and Jonathas, and like it. There's and I'm seeing a pattern of happy people are generally at the top of this, at least in track and field. It, how much of that is a factor for you guys?
It's just hard to, it's hard to train and do what you need to do in order to be successful if you don't like if you're not excited for it, right? Because happy is not even the word. It's like I'm not just happy. I'm like excited to get up. Right, I got practice at 10:45 in the morning, so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna wake up at 7:45, 3 hours before training. I'm gonna make sure I get my coffee, eat breakfast, make sure I do everything I need to do before I go to training, so I can have a great day. Like I'm excited for that. And I think that's just kind of the personality that most elite athletes have because, if we weren't like that, we probably wouldn't be at the level we are. And then, like you said, the happiness aspect, it could be a lot of outside factors that you can't necessarily control or you can. And, it's important to be self-aware and emotionally aware that like, hey, I need to change something. Something's not going great. I need to adjust that in order to improve my performance or just improve how I feel, and make myself happy. And then, like you said, usually it leads to a good outcome. I haven't really seen a lot of, athletes that are like down in the dumps that are like winning Olympic golds.
Yeah.
Most of the athletes that I know that are my friends that are running well, they're like, you know, always, excited to see me and talking to me, always laughing and joking and stuff like that. And I think that's, a strong correlation.
Taylor Fletcher just popped it in the producer chat. I don't know how it got in there, but he said it's a mentality. So Taylor is a what 4-time Olympian, Devon? Taylor? This is his
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
in Nordic combined, and he's been on our show a couple of times. But again, just super motivated person. What do you think, Jess, on that? Is it a mentality? Is it kind of a way of thinking, a way of operating? And you kind of agree with Dev on like you never seen too many glum superstars.
Yeah, I think also if you are going through something or you are experiencing something, what I've learned just personally as an athlete is for the most part, you have to compartmentalize things. And sometimes that's the difficult part to do. And so the things that maybe you're struggling with or you're going through, they manifest as different things. You know, I had a friend have this experience. Literally, someone broke up with my friend during the middle of rounds. And it's like, I need to cry. And it was like, I went in the bathroom. I might have shed a tear. And I was like, I don't have time. But, I got to pull it together. I mean, my friend went on to make the team and do great things. And I'm just like, wow. Like, and I think being a happy to go with that, I think being happy is important, but to me it's about, like Devin was saying, like, what is happiness really? For me, when I think of being happy, I think of peace. And I feel like I might have peace, but other things might be going on around me, other scenarios. And sometimes those things, even if they're not favorable, they motivate us in a different way to say, I have I have this gift. How can I still use this gift? And how can it manifest all the hard work and things like that I've done? Because I feel like when I'm a very happy person, but when I train, I'm kind of like I don't know, I can be a mean person. I'm kind of very rigid. Um, pe- I think when people see me train, they wouldn't think that I'm the same person when I'm not training. And so for me, I do think that you have to have some type of balance. Everything doesn't have to be perfect, but things have to. And I do think it's a mentality. Even if things aren't going the way you think, you have to believe that they will be better. And that's gonna help motivate you and help you get through what your training cycle or your race or whatever it might be. And so that's I think happy is just a component of it. To me, happiness is about peace. Like Wadlin's been my roommate before. She's a very happy person, and it's so funny because when she steps out there, she has a mean look on her face.
I never knew. Everyone's like, she's so funny, and I'm like,
So
really?
She
nice.
is. And people's like,
She's
is she
literally the
nice?
nicest person.
Yes,
She's
she
the nicest.
is. But she shows up with, this is a competition at the end of the day, and different people need different things to show up. And I think it's about, as an athlete, like Devin said, finding out what you need that's going to help you show up to be your best self. We always saw Bolt joking around, but that's what helped him versus other people.
You see Fred Curley.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you're like, ooh, I don't want to ask him anything. And that's just that's what works best for him, and that's what helps him go out there and perform. And maybe that's a mentality for each of them. That's Fred's mentality approaching that. But people will tell you, you can go up and ask him for an autograph or speak to him, and he'll talk to you. Same thing with, like I said, with Bolt. He's joking around and doing things like that, but he gets out there and he did amazing things, world record things. And so I just think it is a mentality, but it's about what works for that athlete and what's going to help them be their best self in that moment in order to perform to the best of their ability. And I think you need that also when you're training as well. What's going to help you be the best to get out there, or the greatest to get out there and to train and be your greatest self. So
Dev, we usually before we kind of let our guests go, we ask them a question about what were you thinking, right, Jess? So why don't I'll let you guys get a moment to kind of think about what were you thinking question, and Shae, maybe you have a what were you thinking question for these guys as well, to kind of turn it back around.
Like,
But
you mean like an event? Like, ask him about an event that
yeah,
happened?
whatever.
and whatever. Like Devon and his what is he doing in the blocks when he's making fingers disappear? Right, Chess?
No, I actually have a question for Shae, just because this is good for, if we have some high school and young college athletes, because you're, still in college. Coming from high school, right, being probably, the best 400-meter runner in the state history, right, and like number 2 in the country ever, right? So what is that transition mentally from high school and then your freshman year at Oregon? Obviously, you said you didn't have a great experience, but like, what was your mindset going into that your first year into college, like coming from high school?
Yeah, I feel like because of the season I had in high school, I set some really high expectations for myself. I would not say my season at Oregon was terrible,
Mm-hmm.
but because of the high expectations I had, like I ran 51.9 in high school. So like I said, the standards I set going into college was that I was going to run 51s easily and maybe even run faster than that. So like when I ran like 52 mids, like pretty like all season, which isn't terrible for like a freshman in college. Like that's actually pretty good for just getting into a new scene and a new lifestyle, everything. But because of like the standards I set, that's kind of what made me so, like you said, unhappy. Like I feel like that's when I became more glum and was like, what is going on? Why am I not running fast? And then that's when I started not having as much confidence in myself and not trusting the training I was doing because it was completely different than what I did in high school. So I was like immediately like, this isn't working for me. And I had no confidence going into my races. I thought every race I had, I was going to have an asthma attack because I have really bad asthma. And I just didn't feel like I was in race shape. So like that, so because of how I competed in high school and how confident I was in high school, because a high school level is like completely different, so going into college I had like high expectations, and like I just felt like I was, because of those high expectations, it like made my season seem to me not good, but to others they're probably like, oh, she had a solid freshman season. But
Mm-hmm.
because of those standards, I think that's what made it so hard on, well, that's why I made it so hard on myself and
Yeah.
all that stuff. So
Put too much pressure on yourself.
yeah.
Yep. Hey, it's college. It's a different animal. You got to deal with a lot more things than just track.
Yeah.
Like being on your own, and people forget about that as an athlete, right? Like you have your parents
Yeah.
cooking you meals and doing your laundry, and and then you go to college, you just got to figure everything out on your own just one day. So no,
Yeah.
that's good insight, because it's important for young athletes to not give up. It's okay to be upset or like want to perform better, because that's just the type of athlete you are. But it's important to understand that it's okay, to just kind of be like,
Yeah.
you set high standards, but it's okay to not necessarily accomplish that, with a lot of things going on in your life.
Yeah, because like after the season, like I went to Oregon for a year and a quarter. So like I actually like went back to like try it again, and it just wasn't working for me. So then that's when I like decided like I need to go somewhere else. Like it's just not working for me. But I did like, I wasn't gonna just use that one season as like a, you
Mm-hmm.
know, just like a to see like,
Barometer. Yeah.
right, yeah. So I did go back, and then that's when I realized it just isn't gonna work for me. Like I just feel like I have to go somewhere else to like get where I want to go and like just get in a better mindset. And I also needed my dad. But I think that experience was really good for me because when I was in high school, I definitely didn't appreciate my dad as much as I should have. Like I was one of those like, I would say I was definitely more spoiled, and I just like took everything he did for me for granted because he stopped working for me, and he went to all my practices, my track meets, did everything with me, and I took most of the stuff he did for me for granted. But I definitely think I needed that experience to be on my own and try something new and be in a different environment, and in order to appreciate him more. So now I don't take anything he does for granted, and like I appreciate everything he does. So it definitely helped me mature into like who I am now. So I love my experience at Oregon for that reason.
Yeah, it's good. So go
Yeah.
Ducks.
It comes right back around. Jess, you got one for Shae, or what were you thinking?
No, I feel like the things I would have asked her had a lot to do with just the transition from, what were you thinking going back to your dad and going back to a more familiar training? Do you know, is that just your I guess how you even would feel knowing you've been doing something that works to you. So just the possibility of that possibly ever changing, or do you expect your dad to always be your coach for as long as he can, or how does that work?
I don't know. That one's definitely tough because like the relationship like my dad and I have, like the coach and athlete relationship we have is just like unmatched. Just because like he listens to my body. Like I have not had any injuries with him, so like he listens to my body. He like is able to move things around. Just because it's me and him, like he's able to give like all of his attention to me, and I'm able to give all my attention to him. And so like it's definitely a very rare relationship we have. But I one thing that I think is hard is that like it's always just me and him, and it would be nice to have like other people involved. Like I'm doing most of my train. I even though I go to UCLA, I don't train with any of the other athletes at UCLA. It's just me and my dad. So I'm doing all my hard workouts by myself, like all my sprint workouts by myself. So it's always just me and my dad. So it's good that we get along because we have so much time together. But I mean, maybe in the future, I mean, he is getting old, but maybe in the future, like, we would, like, you know, maybe take some tips from other people, or I would have somebody else. Like, it's just whatever, whenever it comes, like, the thing that was, like, scary about, like, when my dad, like, was in the hospital and he just wasn't doing good, like, I've come to terms, like, what am I going to do if, like, worse scenario happens? Like, that like came to my mind, like what would I do at that point. So it's just like something that's gonna have to happen, like when it happens. I don't know if I would plan to like train with a different coach, or but we are like trying different training strategies. Like we're not gonna do the same thing every single year because then I'll just stay stagnant. So we are like open to try different things and all that stuff. So that's just where I'm at with it. Like right now we're just gonna work together because it's working, and see where it goes.
That's very cool. Well, Shae, this has been awesome. I don't know, this is a lot of fun. Every one of these shows, it's like it feels like, oh, this is the new best show. This is right up there again. So I appreciate you coming on. Do you guys have anything else to before we let Shae go here?
Well, yeah, we just want Shae to tell the people where they can follow her. Social medias, YouTube channels, whatever.
Yeah, TikTok. You guys can just follow me on Instagram, I guess. It's Shae with 2 E's, period, Lynn with 2 N's, Lynn.
Good.
Yeah.
Even though you're going to delete it, but it's okay.
She's just going to log out.
Social media, same. Hey, the Eagles fans are rough. Yo, they got that firsthand social media the last week. So.
All right. Well, thanks, Shae, for coming on. We'll have you on soon.
It was awesome.
All right. We'll see you.
Bye.
Bye.
Dev, yeah, I've been getting a lot of that going. Well, you better tell your friend Dev. He doesn't know what he's
give me a break. Like,
here come the Eagle fans already. Come on, man.
Like, you know what? It's gonna be best case scenario, and I'm just gonna turn up, and I'm gonna be the Philadelphia legend, and that's all I'm expecting. Period. So I'm at the move to Philly permanently.
So. Dev, what were you thinking though when you got that call and maybe when you made the decision of like, yeah, I think I'm gonna do this. What were you thinking in that moment?
I was just excited. It's something I've been dreaming about my whole life, and something I believe I could do my whole life as well. And to have the opportunity is really special because a lot of people don't get the opportunity, especially in my specific scenario, right? Like not a lot of 27-year-olds or rookies in the NFL. Not that, that means much. I'm probably the fastest and strongest and most athletic I've ever been in my life, but still, it's a rare opportunity, and I'm going to take advantage of it. And I'm just glad to have that opportunity and get after it.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to watch for sure.
So,
yeah, it's not that far from. I think Philadelphia is like 2 hours.
Yeah, it takes me 2
Yeah.
hours from my house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 2 hours from here. So.
All right. Well, should we
think we should
shut it
wrap it
down?
up.
Bob, give us the rundown. Where can we follow World's Greatest? You know it all.
Hey, first off, I want to thank you guys, but another good show. And thanks for coming out. I know you guys traveling a lot, so I appreciate you coming on the show and anchoring this leg. But and then by the way, on Thursday we have Trevor Bassett on Thursday.
Yeah, Ohio in the house.
Yeah,
Ohio in the house.
I saw that pic, Jess, and I'm like, yes,
yeah, yes.
So we gotta figure out who we want to match up with him with on that show. But you guys will have fun together, so that'll be a fun show.
Yeah.
I mean, for us, World's Greatest, you can find us World's Greatest on YouTube. World's Greatest without the vowels. I don't even know how to do it, Devon. Like you and Mike.
WRLDSGRTST.
It's too much. Somebody's still sitting on that account on Twitter. It's like a dead account. They won't give it to us. The regular World's Greatest.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Just buy the world's greatest.eth domain.
There we go. There we go.
There we go.
And then World's Greatest Team on Instagram. But that's us. How about you guys?
Rain2 on IG, at Run to Rain on Twitter, Jessica Beard on Facebook. It's really just my Instagram post. So at Rain2 on Instagram.
Oh, by the way, before you go, Devon, Jess, you have to. I think it should be mandatory that every 3 weeks you need to retweet that little video of your cousin.
Yes.
Your nephew.
Yes, my cousin. It's so funny because for the longest they would call me Auntie Jessica. She was like, she's your cousin. And I guess since I was just older. And so yes, Zayas is that's what I told her. I said, let him watch a different video. And
it's the cutest.
It was just so cute. He was just he's like, come on. I'm like, I'm trying to go as fast as I can, Zayas. I was going. I'm sorry it took me so long. So yes.
That was the best. Dev, you got to check that one out.
Yeah, I'm actually watching it right now, but
so
without the audio.
Oh, you need the audio, so you'll do that.
I'll watch it when I get off.
Okay.
And thanks again for coming on, Dev. Where can we find you?
Just Devon Allen 13 on Twitter and Instagram, and yeah, that's about it.
Are you gonna have 13? Do you think you can have 13?
That's the goal. We'll see.
Okay.
I'm not gonna be too picky, but that'd be nice. But
yeah.
So
okay.
I already made a request, so we'll see.
We're gonna start
putting a different number. Are you gonna change it from Devon Allen 13?
No.
Okay, cool.
No.
That's fine too.
We'll put that as a rotating Eagles banner down here to get the campaign going.
Get Devon in 13.
Yeah.
It's the most important thing. He needs it.
He needs it for 2 reasons, like sub 13 and like 13 on the field. Like
I technically could get 12 now.
Oh, hey. Wow.
Hey.
I like that. That's even better.
We'll see.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. Great show.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Guys. Have a good night.
Night.